What up, humans? Welcome to a guide for Gul'dan, the last boss in the Nighthold, and probably one of the hardest bosses you'll ever see in World of Warcraft. Okay, so the first thing you need to know that everybody has their own little spell on their hotbar. DPS gets like a DPS buff. The cooldown on it is like 1 minute. You want to cast it as many times as you can because it's quite a long fight. This fight took us 12 minutes and 12 and a half minutes, I think it was, to beat it. It's usually a 13-minute fight, so you want to make sure you hit that buff as many times as you can if you're a DPS. If you're a healer, you get a little purple bubble that surrounds the area. Usually you want to use them in phase 1 on all these meteors that are dropping down and stuff like that. It basically avoids all damage. It's nice. The tanks do have one also, and it's like a damage avoidable buff or something. Alright, in phase 1, the most spell he's going to use is the Hand of Gul'dan. Usually you want to have your healer pop their little hotbar spell, like the big purple bubble, and it mitigates all the damage. Also in phase 1, he's going to spawn 3 huge adds. They're pretty big. They're not hard to miss. You want to try to cleave them all and burn them down. Get rid of the caster first. He does the most damage. We killed the caster, then we killed the fell, then we killed the tanked cage guy or whatever his name is. They're pretty easy. I mean, they just got a lot of health. You just got to make sure when you're killing them, you watch out for the beam that's right there flying across the screen. I'll explain that next. Okay, so wherever Gul'dan himself is facing is where he blasts the giant beam out. And also during phase 1, there's little green beams on the floor. They go clockwise around and around. If you get hit by them, you take a lot of damage. It's a 13-minute fight. You want to, take as least amount of damage as you can. That way your healers ain't before phase 3. So that's basically it. After he goes into the bubble in the beginning of phase 1, you can't hit him at all until after the adds are dead. And then he's going to knock everybody back. It's going to take a lot of AoE damage. So healers, be ready with your tranks or whatever. Get everybody up. And also during this phase, he puts like a little lamp down on the ground. And it tries to suck you into it. And you take damage the closer you are to it. So if you're a druid or somebody with a lot of speed, displace your beast away. Run as far away from that little light as you can, or you're going to take massive amounts of damage. Alright, on to phase 2.
But wait! There's more!
Beginning of phase 2, he knocks everybody back. He pops a shell and he's ready to be attacked. You want to not be in front of him because he does some cleave strike that will murder you in like one hit. So stay away from the front of him. The only person that should be in front of him is the tank. Everybody else stays behind him, all kind of grouped up, but not standing on top of each other. One of the big raid wipers are the Eye of Gul'dans that spawn. There's going to be 2. Sometimes you get 3 or 4, depending. If you get the empowered ones near the end of phase 2, they're huge ones. They got a lot of HP, and there's 2 of them. At the beginning of the phase 2, you can probably get 4 of them. So make sure you kill them as fast as you can. If you get targeted by them, then you want to run away like 5 steps until they're not targeting you no more. And then you go back and you kill them until they're dead. One of the biggest things in phase 2 is the Bonds of Fel. The boss will place a debuff on multiple members of the raid. The debuff deals ticking fire damage and slows the player by 50%. To remove the debuff, if you have it, you have to break the chain by moving away from the location where you got the chain. When the chain breaks, it's going to blow up, and it's going to blow up like 5 million damage or something crazy huge. So you want to make sure you get like 3 or 4 ranged members of your raid to jump inside of the circle where the chains are to split that damage, because you can split the cleave damage. Okay, for phase 3, the big raid wiper has been the Storm of the Destroyer. He puts a big circle around him, and it increasingly gets bigger. If you're caught anywhere in that, you're dead. That's all there is to it. So make sure you avoid that. And I forgot to mention in phase 2, there's little green fell rot on the ground. You want to stay out of there. Throughout phase 3, there's going to be a big purple thing in the center. He's collecting souls. Usually you want your healers to take that, so they put the debuff that they get onto themselves so they know to heal it. You can also put range in there. What it is whoever stands in there collects one of the soul that's in there, and you take a debuff for it, and it ticks like 100, 200k, depending on how many debuffs you have on you. But when they're in there, you have to take them. If you don't take all the souls out of there, he blows up the raid. So make sure you have somebody assigned to take all the souls out of the center. Also in phase 3, you lose your little hot bar spell that you get. And he also puts Flame of Sargeras on everybody. Not everybody, but on random people. It does nothing for 3 seconds, but it starts ticking really high after 3 seconds. And then it'll explode and it'll put desolate ground on the floor, which is like a big circle of fire. Just stay away from there. Usually you want to put that on the outside, just like the rot and the thunder and all that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you get loot.